Right, welcome to the last part in the data cleaning and data preparation video. I know you probably uh say, oh, don't worry, let's skip that. Alright, this is the last part of the video, not of the Excel series, but of this particular data cleaning and data preparation. And we can see what we have, that we went from a chaotic let me just this is looking weird. Oops, control minus, just take that out. You can see how we went from this to this. Very clean, very nice. Okay, we can make this even better, right? Can make this even better, but we're not into formatting. We have another one for formatting. So we've seen cleaning and preparation. What if this data was to be presented like this? How do we handle it, right? Let's say we're not using pivot table, we're not summarizing, we're not carrying an analysis. We're just meant to present the data in a very clean way and easy to pick things or to find things in there, right? And that's why we'll be using the data formatting sheets. So we have another sheet here. Of course, I've increased the zoom level 150. Go, scroll. All right, this is what we have. So we have the student, we have the subjects, we have the students, we have the subjects, and we want to get the format. So we want to format these videos so that they look nice and proper. Okay, so how do we do that, or what do we get? What do we do to get started? Now, when we say formatting, it means the data is clean. Just for example, this, and maybe do some highlighting. This is a broad score sheet. We want to be able to easily see things without having to scroll. For example, who is the best student in maths? We should be able to see it. Who is the best student in physics? Who is the least? Who are those underperforming? How can we help them? You understand all of those things. So it's just more formatting. First thing is, what is the data about? So let's add that. So I'll do this and say, okay, I also include a new column by the side. Okay, let's take that out. Let's just do it this way. Yeah, I like the new column. It's just some styling thing, just make it look neat. We can reduce that, the half of that. Okay, then we can say this is student score sheet, right? So we can say that is student score sheet, and we'll give that a nice color. Let's check. Let's stick with blue, the random blue. This is the blue. This is the blue. Yeah, this blue. Make it bold, make it bigger, right? Right. Then maybe we can add maybe dates or something. Let's see what else we can add to the bottom of this. Now, first, let's include a new column so that it doesn't stay together. Okay, so this should be like this, all right, something like that. Then we include this new column. Let's reduce this. So we do class. Oh, okay, text the formatting. Class. Let's say grade. Okay, grade for class. Say first term examination results. No, just something, just come up with that. Of course, we'll clear the formatting from this. I don't want that. Clear format. Yeah, it goes back to this. for that to be slightly different. So I'll give it a slight gray color, not too dark, so it doesn't get the black color. Okay, this is good. Can italicize that. All right, so this is what we have. This is just by the side, so we know that we know what the data is about, right? We know what the data is about. Because this is wide, I'll just scroll up. Okay, so the next thing is we probably want to put this in a table, but because of the table formatting, we don't want the generic table formatting. We want to do custom field, so I will not put this data in a table in this case. Of course, I can maybe include a school logo on the side. We'll probably get a random logo and just put there later. Maybe not. All right, so our headers, as usual, should get a particular style. Make them bold. We'll make them bold first. Then our slightly gray background. Okay, so they are different from the record rows. Next thing is this as well, right? Okay, that should be bold. Now we can call these, instead of average, okay, the formulas are still there. We can make this will be the average of the students. Then we can call this percentage. Let's call this percentage. That's over 100. Oops, that was because of this. Over 100, how well did the student do? And put that in context. So we have given it headers. We can now tell it apart from our data. So the names of the students can be italicized as well. So we know that, okay, these are names and the rest are scores. We can make it bold, but we can definitely do, oops, that's the text I want to go to. Okay. And of course we want outside borders. For this, let's start with this first. We want to give it a border because eventually we will be turning off the grid lines. Okay, if I go to view, I go to grid lines. So you can see what we'll be left with, this blank sheet. You can see how nice everything is coming. So we want grid lines to separate them. These are just formatting issues or formatting tips. Since the background is white, I want a gray grid line. So I have to change my color first. And as usual, our gray, this light gray is fine. Yeah, I know you're seeing the dots, but all we have to do is click something else first. Because we want us to apply that one after the other, but we're not interested. So highlight again, go back there, and then click. We want left and right borders, so say outside borders. So bottom outside. All right, so it gives it a left and right border. No, it won't. It does give it the outside. Oh, on the left, so pick left. On the right as well, right? Okay. No, we don't have that yet. All but as will give us the lines and all, but we don't want the lines and all. So let's go back there. We do a left border. We're not getting the left border, so let's do that one after the other. Left. Oh, my left is this way. Right border. All right. Okay, maybe we should leave the skull together. The right border. All right, make that fast. So to repeat the last action, just use F4. So I'll keep highlighting and do F4. So you can see I've added F4. So using F4, it just repeats the last action. So we can tell the scores different from this. Okay. So what else? The headers as well. We want a slight difference, but since the colors are gray, I'll change the border to white. Now this is based on what your preference is. Okay. The major thing you should take out is, we are learning how to format. So I'll do all borders for this. All borders. All right. So we can tell the column names apart. So we have the names, we have this, we have that. Nice. So this as well should take something like this. So I'll just highlight this to that point. Format painter. Apply all the way down like this. So this should be bold, maybe not. What's the font size? Italics. All right. Next, let's move to this edge. And since these are totals and average, they should also take the formatting. Format painter, apply. All right. They have the background, they have the, yeah, this should also be there, but this can be darker as it's a gray area and it's not used. Okay. The place is not used. Nice. Now we can see how everything we have is coming together. Okay. So one thing I forgot to do is to keep the original data the way it is, so we can compare from the raw to the new one. So what do we do? If I copy and paste and I undo, okay, we'll lose everything we've done. Okay, we'll lose everything we've done. So what I can do is copy these. This is what we have. Control C, section. This is what. Then we'll paste that here as values. So paste as values. So that should take out all the formatting option. Nice. So we're back to the original data. So let's continue with our formatting. Now we have this. We want a stronger border at the top. The outside border should be more like a thick border color, Yeah, something like this. It'll just be outside borders. Yeah, that's nice. So the top has that feel of the top. Now the next thing we want to do is, the scores themselves. We'll be exploring some conditional formatting options in this video, so that we can maybe add styles. We can easily isolate, oh, this is the best person in this course, this is the list in this one, this is the list in that one. All right, since that will take long, we can format these values first, right? These ones, what do we want to do here? Probably want to format them into 2 decimal place, right? And we want to make them whole numbers. So it should be 85, 86 on average of 100. So average score. So I want to change that to percentage and boom. Now I don't want percentage, so I'll add 2 decimals. 2 decimals. Okay, so this is what we have. It's 3. Of course, the percentage sign. Oops. So because this is a multiplication by 100, so and I will not be able to remove this percentage sign, so I will undo that. So do whatever is here multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is what I get. Fill it down. Let me apply the same formats. Good. It is 86.4, 50.71, 69. And you can run them to whole number as well. So since our scores are in whole number, that'll be a good idea. Control 1. All right. So average score 86, 51, 76. Now we have been able to round off the average score. So for this, we'll highlight probably the highest person. Let's change this to percentage. Format. Okay, do the percentage sign. Undo. Now this is in hundreds already, and that was because of this format that came from here. So I'll delete everything and do an average again. So it gives us in decimals. Okay, let me clear the formats. Clear formats, do that again. Oops. Then we'll give this percentage. Okay. This is how many students do we have? Let's count first. Count A. So we can get the value in decimals. So we have 12. All right. So I'll just do, instead of doing average, I'll do a manual. That's sum of this divided by 12. Divided by the board. The background is the first one we had. All right. So we can make this slightly dark. Okay, percentage. This as well, slightly dark. This as well, students. Just to highlight them differently. Okay. So the subjects, the total average percentage. Now we know this error. Then we can now take this and change it to a percentage. All right, nicely formatted. Good. Now that we have percentages, make them bold now since the background are different. So we have the percentages across all subjects. We have the student names. Okay. Now for the subjects, let's start with the total. I want to see who scored the highest. So you can jump into conditional formatting. So we have the icon set, we have the color scale, we have the data bar, we have the row. Okay, so we have the rows. So let's look at the row. We have icon, we can create a new row. We have the top rows. Okay, so we say top 10 or top percentage. So it says top 10, and that is the only person in the top 10. That means the highest. So just click on no, I do not want that color. So I'll go back there. Okay. I'll pick the color because the top person did well. All right. So you can see that's the highest average. So I can see just directly like that from a glance, taking a glance at the data, I can see who has the highest score, right? Now let's start with this. We'll be exploring different conditional formatting options. So let's just see what we have. Conditional formatting. Go there. Highlight cell rules. For now, let's look at the data bars. Nice. We have this, solid fill. We have the blue, looking weird. But that's how you do it. So the closer the bar is to being full, the higher the score, right? I'm not going to keep this, but just for you to see. So let's look at the color scales. So we have the green white scale. I have one that is more natural. Okay. All right. So color scale again. We have this. So it depends on what we want to highlight. Do not forget. So if we want to be able to easily see those with errors or below this, so we can go with the green white. Let's go with this. So if you see a red that's below 50, we can change the rule, but that's the basic rule that it has. So the more greener, the more better, the more redder, the more worse. Okay. So that is that about that. You can do the same thing for English. Let's see conditional formatting from here. Let's say you want to see the top, our linguistic, top 5 or top whatever. So here we can say greater than 75. I want to highlight, probably want to pick them for competition or for whatever reason. I want to highlight the greater than 75. Now we can see them. For this, we want to consider the less performing and help them. So stick with this, go from here. The less than, we want to say less than 50 is not acceptable. Okay, or less than 51. Less than 51, so that will be from 50 is not acceptable. All right. So in this case, we want to see those who, now this could be based on the request of the physics teacher. I want to see, did anyone fail? This one I want to see, like I said, oh, this one wants to go for competition, or this one is not acceptable. So I can say what we can do. And this person wants to see those who are average, right? Average. So we'll go back to conditional formatting. I will say between. I use between this time. So between what and what? So between 50 and we'll say 60. So we want to consider them average. So we use the yellow fill. The yellow fill, we want to see that there's a problem. And now it has highlighted. Now we want to highlight those who are below 50 as red. Okay, highlight, less than 50, less than 50, and that is red. You can see. So we have this as, okay, not so bad. Now we'll start to see patterns in the data. It seems this person might need more faith because there was a red here. Okay, this was not highlighted. Depending on the highlights, you could have gotten a color. There is another red. This is another red. So we can easily see patterns in the data from just the last chunk, from just the large chunk, I mean. So formatting helps us easily spot things in data, right? Now this is start to look like its map, something like that, right? So for the music teacher, what can we say about that? Let's say I want to see the nightingales, those that can sing, and the whole world will be paused. I mean, time will freeze and all of that. Let's see. Let's assume this is highly competitive, or want to see the worst performer. Just the worst. We've seen the worst in some cases. We've seen the best. Okay, what can we do? Let's just see how they perform generally. So let's use a scale bar in this case. So we'll just use a scale bar. Hold on. Yeah, we might go with that. But let's see if there are better ones. Data bars, solid view. Yeah, we'll go with the solid view. Okay, so we can see this is very short. This is short, you can see. Of course, if you click in, you won't see anything, but we can see the bars showing us how good or how poor they are, right? The higher the bars, the higher, the better they are. And one thing I want to correct in this thing is, since we have been sticking with green, red, yellow, I might as well just stick to that all through. So change this. We don't have too many color riots. So change this to orange or green. Okay, so positive, one positive feeling. Okay, in this case. Now for geography, we'll explore another option of data formatting, color scales. Showing white, white and green variation. This is the yellow and green variation. And for the history, we can use the first set, right? So you see those who are poor at history, see the pattern, we need to do something for faith. This is poor as well. It's poor though, but now this is what we have in the data. It doesn't mean we have to put all of this in there. We can follow the same formats. So maybe just highlight the top performing, the least performing. Sorting is another way to format your data. Okay, when it's not formatted, conditional formatting can help you do that. So you can highlight without being formatted. All right, so this for the average, I want to do, let's use the icon set in this case. Right, green, that's up, very good. Now we have different icon sets. We can do problem, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, rating. See, we have them as rating, we have them as network bars, we have them as data bars. We'll stick to this, right? So it says this, right? So this is up, that means below 75 is straight towards declining. 75 and above. Let's try 74 here to see what happens. Okay, 74 is still like that. So from what points? Okay, that's from 72. Oh, let's see what it's using. 73, 72. Oh, okay. Of course, we can edit all of those rules, but we'll stick to this. We don't want this different sliding, this the slanting, and this. We just keep up, straight, or down. All right. So these are yellows, not bad. Down, poor. That's what we have, poor. And for this, is that what we have? Green. Okay. We have green. And say manage rules. You can see how it uses the icon for us. So if we click on edit rule, you can see the values that were used. Okay. So for us, we'll change the values because I just mentioned it before. I did not change it. I didn't do that. And see the type is in percent and change it to formula to a number, whatever it is, but 100% is still the idea. So greater than or equal to 75. That's green. When less than 75, as let's say from 50 to 75, and of course anything below 75. So this should not be less than 33. Good. So it has updated. Less than 50. I'll click OK. I'll click. Now let's click apply. So we'll see it before it closes. Applied. Right? Good. It has applied, but there's a problem. 51 showing down. 66 and 67. This, we'll delete this. Did we apply this? We did not. Delete this rule. Apply again. Okay. So let's edit again. Edit the rule. Greater or equal to 75. Greater or equals to 50. That should give us this. When less than 50, it should give us this. Right. So everything is okay. Everything is okay. So that should work properly. Apply and okay. So let me put in 61. Then change. Let me change it to number. If it didn't, I'll just leave it as Excel. Problem. Manage rules. Edit. Then we'll do a okay, number 75, 50. Updates for us. Okay, now that's updated. When value is greater than 75, when value is greater or equal to 75, when value is less than 75, and when value is this. Right, apply. Good. Now that has changed. So the percentage was messing up before. And okay, yeah, this is what we have. Nicely done. And you can see, I'll zoom out a little. Let's see, 120, 125. Okay. Let's see how what we have is now looking nice, right? Now we have this nice looking. We can bring the names this way. Right, so we know this is the names, right? And this is what we have. So we have gone from this, where you can barely tell who did well. You have to start looking between your data, to this. How nice. How nice. All right. So congratulations again. You've come to the end of this video. You can define your rules, do it different ways. And do not forget, another thing is we might want to add scores over 100, right? It's still part of what we're doing. So you might want to add that across all data. So how do I do that quickly? I'll select this and say everything is by 100. All right. So take out the one I typed in manually. Add some empties, add my s, that's it. So we want a space, we'll include a space before the bracket. All right, so drag all the way down. So we can copy that and paste. Of course, the value will change. So copy and paste as values. All right. Hold on. Okay. Then we can take out whatever we have here. What is this? Where's my cursor? The mouse. All right. So take out all of this. We can add this to be how many subjects? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is total of over 700. So that anyone who is looking at this data can understand that, oh, okay, this is over 700. Then we can as well adjust this. 100, that's 100, average is 100. And percentage, of course. Percentage is in 100%. Well, when we say percentage, that's what it means anyway. So we don't need to add that again. All right. Congratulations. You can see how nicely we formatted this call sheet. Yes, do well to increase all the bars. I know it's long, but it's something to do. Adjust everything except this because they will overflow nicely. We don't have issues with that, but the subjects should show properly. Yeah. All right. And yes, we have come to the end of data formatting. In the last video, we looked at data cleaning and prepping. Now we have considered data formatting. And with all of this skill, you should be a subscriber by now. You can tell that you've gained a lot of value, shared a lot of things. Do well to like, subscribe. There is more to come. Okay, there's more to come. And I'll see you in the next video. Do not forget, share with someone who works with Excel. Bye.